Welcome, viewers and listeners, to another episode of The House of Prayer. My name is Edward King, and I'm your host. Seriously, weather has changed. There's leaves all over the ground now. Most of the leaves have fallen off the trees here. It's pushing toward the middle of October. The snow has left the ground. That's nice. It won't be gone for long, I know that. But I got to thinking here about a few things, and as I usually do. And of course, if you have more pressing things to do online, checking your emails, doing your Facebook, or whatever it is that you like to do normally, keep right on doing that. These presentations are mainly audio, not visual. That's why I just hang the camera up in the trees here. But yeah, this is where I pray. I pray here for my loved ones, and even for perfect strangers, and for our political leaders, and for just about everybody. I think could use a prayer, and I think we could all use a prayer, actually. Even our quote-unquote enemies. So I guess I have a lot to pray for. There's a lot on my prayer list, but there are also people that ask for specific prayers, and those are generally more kept on my hierarchy, the list, my priority list of prayers. Specific prayers for people that have asked me to pray for them. I had no idea what this would come to. To be quite honest, those who have received blessings as a result of my prayers, and them asking me, to pray again for them, and that, it's because they know that it works. Prayer works, and so sometimes I have to ask myself, what did I start? Because I'll be overwhelmed sometimes with people asking me to pray for them. But that's only a verification that there's a blessing going on, and the Lord has blessed my prayers, and prayers are being answered. Praise God. I probably won't get all that Bible thumping here in this presentation. This is a little bit more of a casual presentation. But as I mentioned earlier, I had some thoughts, and I'd just like to say that we really need to be careful about how we listen and how we read other people's communications. Not just about what we say or what is coming out of our mouths, and I think that's even more difficult, but we also really do need to be careful about what we're hearing. Quite often what we think we heard and what we heard are two entirely different things, and this thing has gone so far as to, this is how carried away it's gotten. People will read something and they think they've read it, but they haven't really read it. Reading comprehension. Recently I had an experience here online, and a person really ripped into me because they thought they read something that I didn't exactly say. And they omitted much of what I had to say, and focused mainly on what it was that they found so offensive. And they apologized, of course, later. This person was certainly a lot more mature than a good many other readers when they realized, oh, I didn't read all of it. And this is important, okay? When you read a communication online, in a book, in the newspaper, I don't care what, you be careful. Make sure you read all of it. because otherwise you could get yourself into a situation, a very embarrassing situation, or, you know, even worse. And I don't really want to go into that, but be careful. Be careful. You know, hearsay has it, doesn't get it. Okay, hearsay doesn't have it. Hearsay never has it. Okay, but my point is this: people generally hear only what they want to hear, and people generally, you see how I use that term, generally, see only what they want to see. And people generally believe only what they want to believe. So when something stands out that catches their fancy, catches their eye, catches their ear, that's what they remember, and they forget all the rest. In fact, it seems like they have sort of a screen of, well, I wouldn't want to call it a screen of logic, but maybe it's some sort of filtration system that protects them from information that might be detrimental to their belief system or to their bias. I don't know. I'm just surmising on this, but it's really uncanny. And I've even caught myself doing this, you know, so I've had to, like, you know, check myself. Wait a minute. Read over it again, Ed, you know, or somebody might correct me and say, I didn't say that, I said, oh, that's right. You see, it's very human to do this. So be careful when you read something online or in the paper or anywhere that you've got it all, or you've got the proper context. See, sadly, reporters do this to people all the time to vilify them, make them look like villains, you know. They will take something that person has said completely out of context, ignore all the rest of the words, the framework within, you know, which those words were stated, and take that quotation out of context to make them look like real villains, terrible people. This is common, folks. And that person can say, well, I never said that, but they did. But they said that within a context, and it could have meant something totally the opposite. But it doesn't matter. But because their words were taken out of that framework, now they've been made to look like they said something they never meant. Okay, but now it looks like that's what they meant, because, hey, that's what they said. Now, I had something on one of my other presentations where I said people really need to learn to say what they mean and mean what they say. And I stand by that. Well, let's get into the subject material here. And some of you who are good listeners might even agree with what I share with you. I don't expect many of you to actually agree with me because what I'm going to say here is not popular. But to make it very brief, I answered or replied to a clip, a video presentation of this bus driver who hit a woman. Yes, he struck a woman. This woman was really harassing him. I don't know what the deal was. It might be bus fare, or maybe he missed her stop. But she was just railing on him. You know, now here's a man, he has to drive, he has to watch the road, he has to pay attention to what's going on, and this woman is just like giving him the gears, and she won't relent. And he told her to, but she did not. Well, as if this was not enough, she struck him. Yes, that's right, she threw the first blow. You know, well, that's not good. But he responded, and he responded in a way that I don't think was very wise. He cold-cocked her. Now, some of the people who saw this clip said that this woman got what she deserved. Others, you know, well, of course, she's a woman. How dare he? Yes, I'm not going to belabor this. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Here it is. She's a woman. He should have never struck her. She's a woman. He should have never hit her. All right? Now this woman wasn't exactly like an Olympic wrestler or Olympic, athlete or anything. Oh no. In fact, she was. I'll describe what I believe she looked like. She looked like the kind of woman who was used to getting everything she wanted from a man. In other words, she was a very attractive, good-looking woman, slim, long, beautiful black hair. She was a good-looking woman. So maybe that's it. She wasn't accustomed to a man saying no. So she struck him. Here's my take on it, and this goes back to way junior high. I was in junior high school, and I was walking down an alley, and I had missed a few weeks of school. I had been in the hospital due to some phenomenon, for lack of a better term. They thought it might be mercury poisoning. I'm not really certain what the problem was, but it was bad, and I was getting severe stomach pains. And I was walking down the alley toward my parents' house during a lunch hour, I believe it was, and this female, one of my peers, I guess, probably the same age as me, maybe 14, I don't know, around there anyway. And she was teasing me. She kept saying, severe stomach pains. Hey, severe stomach pains. How come you missed so much school? Hey, severe stomach pains. Severe stomach pains. She kept taunting me. And I ignored her. I did not respond to her because I was raised to ignore people who spoke ignorantly and people who were acting belligerent, and just to mind your own business and not to dignify them with a response. So that's what I did to her. Little did I know that my ignoring her would result in her running up like some crazed bull and leaping upon my back, yanking me by the hair and boxing my ears. She was just like laying into me, Now this is a female. This is a young woman. Friends, woman. Notice how I use the word woman. What, 14's not a woman? Oh, you better believe 14 is a woman. Okay, she may be a very immature woman, but she's still a woman. And that's another issue that, I could discuss another time. But, and I was a young man. I was not very mature, but I was a young man. And, she just thought she could take it upon herself to pound me in the head and yank me by my hair. Now, I was raised never to strike a woman. And I want you all to know that I really stand by that. I would really like to see a woman try to say that I beat her up or pounded her. There was one exception where I, with an open hand, slapped a woman across the face for profanity, and I regretted it afterward for a very, very long time, many years. Okay, I slapped her across the face. She was so profane, so foul-mouthed, and so disgusting. And again, I was very, very young and very stupid, but I learned my lesson there, because that actually earned me the title of wife beater. Okay, so don't ever strike a woman. My dad was right. You don't ever hit a woman. Don't ever hit a woman. Here's the bottom line. You don't hit a woman. So what was I to do in this scenario? And now I muse here. I look back on the scenario and I smile, because I did a very, I think, prudent thing. Pardon me for a moment. I just breathed in a leaf. Oh boy, that's not a very good thing to do. Don't breathe in leaves when they're falling from the trees. You know, those little bits, those crispy, man. Anyway, yes, or maybe it was a bit of lichen. That's, wow. But I think it was a prudent thing that I did. I had to do something. She was uncontrollable. You know, she was already on me. I couldn't exactly run from her. If you can run, run. By all means, run. You know, be a coward and run. Be a very wise coward, you know, if you can. This was not so far from my home. This was icy. She was hanging on me. She had me by, she had one hand holding me by my hair, and she was pounding me in the head with her fist. I did something I thought was prudent. I swung around and I grabbed her by the hair, wrapped her hair around my wrist, and got right to it by the roots, and held it by the roots and said, "So you want to play that game, do you?" And basically, you know those little bat and ball things, you know those string ball deals, paddle ball? That's it, paddle ball. Yeah, I kind of used her head like a paddle ball, you know, just like shook her back and forth really good, you know. And then I straight armed her head down to my boots, and I made her kiss my boots, and I made her lick my boots, and I made her call me master. And this is a very good thing, men. If you could, if you're in a situation you can't get away, okay, you got this woman on you like that, take her by the hair, really, real close to the skull, you know, the roots, you know, and straight arm, you know. I don't mean hit her. I don't mean punch her. Don't ever strike a woman. Don't ever do that. And then just thrust her head down to your boots, okay? And make her kiss your boots. Tell her, I am not going to let go of you until you kiss my boots and lick them. And call me master. Do it. Do it. Do it. I'll tell you why. Because once she has humiliated herself, once she has finally capitulated and is bawling and blubbering, okay, calling you master, okay, she won't attack you after that, okay? She's broken. She's broken. You succeeded in breaking her spirit, and now she will submit, okay? But you have to do that first, otherwise she'll just keep beating on you, okay? Now you got to understand, you know, I was a very young man at the time, and I was very used to being bullied and picked on because I was not of great stature, but actually I was a lot stronger than people realized. The reason I was a lot stronger than people realized is because although I did attend school in the city, I did a lot of hauling the slop pail, chopping up wood for the stove, you know, bucking up wood with a buck saw, and I got a lot of exercise. And, you know, to look at me, I didn't look like much, but I was very strong and wiry, and they found that out in wrestling, but, you know, that came later. But I was a lot stronger than I looked, and, you know, there's a few boys that tried my mettle that way and found out that this funny, nerdy-looking guy was not so weak. And, you know, but I digress. What I'm trying to get to here is that men, you have to be able to do this. You have to be able to train your women to know that they're women and that they must submit to you. Oh yes, this is very important, okay? Now, I realize she wasn't my woman, but don't ever let a woman beat on you, and don't ever strike a woman. Come on, you're better than that. Just grab her by the hair. That's what her hair is there for. You see, that's probably why these neo-feminists cut their hair, so they can be belligerent and act like guys and behave like men, and men can't actually humble them. Okay? Just grab her by the hair, push her down to your boots, and make her lick them. Make her kiss them. Because when you do that, there's something psychological that takes place in her brain, and she submits, and she humbles herself, and she realizes she did wrong, and she'd never strike a man. You know? It's a whole lot better than beating her. You know, don't beat a woman. Don't beat her. Come on, she's a woman. Don't beat up a woman. Don't ever do that. You know? Now, you got to feel sorry for them, okay? here's my point. You got to feel sorry for them. See, us guys, we got one problem. It's called testosterone. Okay, but women, she got to deal. Here's the woman. She got to deal with testosterone. She's got to deal with estrogen. She got to deal with progesterone. There's 4 basic ones that she has to struggle with constantly. You know, she's an emotional roller coaster. She's, you know, I mean, I'm not saying, you know, feel so sorry for them that you got to let them beat you up and abuse you, because I know women are more violent than men. I know that that's something they really like to keep hidden under the carpet, okay, that women are actually more violent than men, but they really are, okay? But my point is see, us guys, we just have to worry about our testosterone. You know, we can check ourselves. We can deal with that. But women, they're all over the place. Because if they're not dealing with this hormone, then they're dealing with that hormone. If they're not dealing with that hormone, then they're dealing with the other one. You know what I'm saying? They're a mess. Okay? Feel sorry for them. They're only women. Okay? But yes, they have to be trained. They have to be taught that, you know, they can't be doing that. They can't be behaving like men. They can't be going around, you know, pounding on guys and beating guys up and striking them every time they get all emotional. So there's your choice. You can run, and I'd say that's your first line. You know, if you can run. But if she's already hanging on you, you know, it's a little late. It's a little late. You know, you might want to try to fight her off, but you got to watch those nails, and you got to watch those teeth, and you got to understand, women love to use their nails and their teeth. Women become complete screaming banshee animals. They're not like men, okay? They don't just cold cock you, okay? They'll do everything, okay? And they're definitely, man, a woman will fight so dirty, she'll go below the belt because she's all animal, okay? She's all animal, all right? She's all picked up by her hormones. You see, a man, you know, he's got a certain amount of, you know, dignity about the way he fights, generally, okay? You know, unless he's a dog. But a man will usually, you know, punch him in the head, and that's it, or give him a good sock in the gut, you know? It's unless he's some, you know, unless we're talking street fighting or something, he's not going to go for your groin or anything like a woman does. Women go for the groin all the time, guys. Okay? They're animals. Women are animals. You got to understand, women are once they're not in control of themselves at all. Okay? So you have to make them submit. Teach them to be submissive and obedient. And once you do that, you know what? That woman never gave me any trouble after that. She never gave me any problem. She saw me coming, she would look down. She would look down like a modest woman. She would look down and she'd walk away. You know, I wish I would have learned something from that. But, you know, being young and naive, I didn't really get it. You know, but here's the deal, guys. Here's the truth. She liked me. She liked me. And she had a crush on me, and she wanted me real bad, but she didn't know how to communicate that to me, okay? So that's why she was always harassing me, and that's why she beat on me, you know, because she didn't know how to deal with her emotions, okay? You know, I'd walk her way, she'd just blush and look down now. See the difference? This is what you have to do with women. Okay, so there you are. I really wish I had more time to elaborate on this, okay? Because I probably sound like a real terrible person. But you got to understand. You've got to understand. Who attacked me? See, it wasn't me attacking her. I'm the one who made her kiss my boots. She's the one who attacked me. God bless you, and thank you for listening. I hope some of you get this. God bless you.